think Hero can you know, do something here. I think KJWCJ's prediction was 3-1 in favor of Hiya, and that's only really if Hiya kind of, you know, gets a little bit cocky and messes up one game. But I'd still expect something better from Hero. I mean, I have seen him play some pretty awesome ZVTs on his stream. So, you know, I think he can at least take a game, and at least, you know, live to the mid game and get something out. It's interesting that Hiya set the pace for this this series like this, though. Hero surely can't be happy with that. I mean, he basically didn't even get to do anything that game. Just got run over before making any units, so... Probably not too good on the psychological front. Anyway, we're going to ally Hiya yet again here. He's going to be here at the bottom right as the yellow Terran. And let me actually have a look at the handy dandy live report thread to see what map this is. It's going to be Fighting Spirit. Alright, sweet. And there is Mr. Hiya himself, the Fishy King, looking calm. Now this map, Fighting Spirit here should at least maybe be a little bit more comfortable on, maybe compared to Wind and Cloud, of course. All the Korean players play on Fighting Spirit like non-stop on Fish. It's 99.9% of the games on Fish are on this map. So yeah, that's at least a little bit of comfort to him. Although of course Hiya will have the same familiarity. Now, I'm also wondering, so last game we did see Hero trying to be a little bit greedy there, going for 12 hatch and then making additional drones. I don't think that really affected what happened with the bust. Like, I think even if he made the pool on time, you know, 12 hatch 11 pool, I think he still would have died the same way. But, you know, he might try and do something different. And just as I say that, you see, he is actually going for an overpool in this game. Well, I didn't really expect that necessarily. I thought he would just go for, you know, the more standard 12 hatch 11 pool. But in this case, he's actually going for the pool first here, which is, it's fairly uncommon in ZVT. You know, 12 hatch being the standard here. Overpool is okay. 12 pool, like overpool or 12 pool into 2 hatch muta is okay. That's you know, it's not bad. But I think this pool first does mean he is going to be a little bit more aggressive here, both in the early game and the mid game. You know, following this up with a 2 hatch muta instead of just going for 3 hatch, I think is the better choice. Now Hiya, building his barracks in an interesting location there, actually, right at the top left of his main. Not quite sure about that positioning. I don't think I've ever seen it put like right there before. You know, usually it's, you know, between the main and the natural somewhere, but that's a little bit off for some reason. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter, it's only a few, you know, hexes away from the wrap anyway. So, as we move now, we're gonna see what's going on. We did have an overpull into expand as well, so it's not like, you know, Hero's gonna go crazy. Well, that's pretty expected anyway to get that hatchery as well. Now the question is, how does Hiya actually react to these initial links? So he sees the hatchery there. He knows it's not any kind of weird, you know, 9 pool all in. And he sees 6 lings as well, so he knows it wasn't just, you know, a few lings made and just to you know, scare the Terran and pick off the SCVs and actually just drone behind. It is actually, you know, legit 6 lings coming out. Gonna poke a little bit, forcing that bunker from the Terran, but it's looking like Hiya wants to 1-rax expand anyway. He's just gonna make the bunker first before making the expansion. And we are actually gonna have a 3 hatch follow-up from Hero, which again I'm not convinced is the best here. I think 2 hatch is better after pool first, but you know, it's fine. I'm not a Zerg player either, so I could be full of shit. Probably am. Anyway, there's the command center. Nice bunker placement, by the way, touching that command center. It always scares me when, you know, players build buildings like right next to where their the town center building should be, because if you just place it 1 hex off, you can just block it and instantly lose the game. Man, I'm sure anyone who's you know, who's played a decent number of ladder games has done that at least once. You know, Protoss players building a pylon too close and blocking the nexus or something like that. I guess it doesn't happen to Zerg, since they won't just build any buildings until the hatchery's there, but Terran and Protoss players I'm sure have blocked themselves. I think Terran players in particular like block their comsats rather than their actual command centers, but yeah, it's pretty sad when that happens. Anyway, apparently that Rax placement is what Hiya does on Fighting Spirit. Alright, that's interesting to know. Coolio. I guess I just don't watch enough of Hiya stream. Although I did say that already though. In the chat I've actually watched a lot more of Hero. So there's the command center finish. Looks like we have a 2 racks of CAD follow up. No fast +1 shenanigans from Hiya. Got a second gas going on for Hero. And so we're going to progress to a normal mid game here. Hiya's not going to try anything crazy this time. And Hero's overpull didn't really do anything. So he's just going to chill. We're just gonna chill. Now, you know, so the overpull, of course, is economically worse than the 12 hatch, but, you know, he did force a bunker before the natural command center of the Terran, and so, you know, he delayed the Terran's natural as well by a little bit, so it sort of evens out. It sort of evens out. Yeah. Anyway, there's a Spire. Just right behind the natural there. Interesting location, you know, it's like sort of semi-hidden. Basically, you know, when the Terran's comsat's finished, you'll have 2 scans, and, you know, when you go for 3-hatch Muta, you have your 3 hatches, main natural, and the 3rd one that you usually place in between. So it's kind of like a 2/3 chance that they see what, you know, scan what your tech is. So sometimes players will put it like in the middle hatchery, sometimes in the main, sometimes in that. Just mix it up a little bit, and occasionally you'll get lucky and they'll scan the wrong place and not see it. Especially a nice placement like that. One additional reason I actually like that placement of the natural is it's slightly more protected against drops. So, you know, Terrans put, oh, hold that thought, looks like we have a Link counterattack. 2 Firebats blocking the ramp, but, you know, they don't actually want to move down because then Links can run up here. So you can see Hiya actually knew that this was going to happen, but there wasn't anything he could do about it because, you know, he had to protect his SCV. So he just, you know, he's going to go kill those 3 SCVs at the bottom. These 3 SCVs in the main, are they going to get any kills actually? It looks like Hiya's doing a really good job of microing his SCVs. He's going to lose 1 there, but that's about it seems. So pretty good SCV control there. And this counterattack is moving up here. There's only 2 Sunkens finished. If that 3rd one finishes, I think Hiya will be, Hero will be fine, yeah. With the 3 Sunkens there's no way that's going to work. And you can see Hiya pokes in, sees the 3 Sunkens. Oh, a bit of miss micro though, not controlling his Marines, going to lose 3 of them for free. Small blunder there. Obviously not the end of the world, but a bit of an uncharacteristic miscontrol there from Hiya. But it looks like he's fine anyway. Held off those links without taking too much damage. The links of the natural actually even did more damage than the ones in the main, even though the ones in the main had, you know, a lot more freedom to move. Now I haven't seen a drone move out just yet to take a 3rd. I would expect one shortly. The Mutas I think should be on the way, should be building maybe by now. Okay, looks like they're already out actually, so yeah, definitely should be a drone poking out here to get a 3rd somewhere. I'm looking on the minimap, it looks like one's actually going to the 12 o'clock rather than going to another main. Is that correct? Or is that an Overlord moving down the left side? Sorry, I'm like just trying to figure out what units are from the minimap, which is obviously not the easiest thing in the world. Anyway, the Mutas are poking out here. Hiya does have a decent sized medic marine force that's already out on the map, so you can see Hero can't go directly to the Terran's main. He has to kind of poke around, make sure that this medic marine force gets whittled down a little bit so he's not at risk of any huge counterattack, any huge sunken break at his natural. So Hiya did a good job here, keeping on the pressure, but here comes some links as well to help out, and it looks like this little move of moving out with the Marines, is it going to cost him? Yes, all the Marines are going to go down. More Marines coming out from the natural to help at least save the medics. It looks like going to lose a couple of those medics at least, though, so nice exchange there for Hero. He doesn't actually seem to have the full clump of Mutas, but no, he's still one-shotting Marines, so it's still okay. And yeah, as I said, Hero taking the close 3rd there at the 12 o'clock rather than another main, which is a little bit more common. This isn't necessarily bad. I mean, defensively, it's slightly easier to defend. It's about the same, really. Until drops come into play, because, you know, both the 12 o'clock there and any of the mains are just defended with a couple of lurkers at the top of a narrow ramp. But the difference obviously is that the air distance is much closer, so if you take corner expansions, they're a lot more vulnerable to drops. If you take the 12 o'clock, your units are pretty nearby to help defend that. The problem though is that taking a 4th base is a little bit more difficult. If you're already taking another main, generally Zora can just, you know, push down the ramp with a couple of lurkers and a swarm and take a 4th pretty easily, whereas in this case he'd have to move out with a little bit of a bigger army. Gotta be careful with the Mutas. Now note though that since it is a 3-hatch Muta, these Mutas don't necessarily need to do a lot of damage. I'm not even sure if he's killed any SCVs yet. But, you know, just keeping the Marines back, whittling down their numbers, making sure they don't bust you while you're taking up to lurkers and getting your third gas established. That's really what all these muses need to do. Even if they don't really do any economic damage, that's actually okay, because it was just a 3 hatch, and, you know, the Zerg is getting his third base up. Doing damage is nice, but keeping the Marine force back and away from yourself, away from your third, is the key factor here. So you can see the lurkers morphing already. When those finish, that base will be completely defended against these Marines. No real chance for them to bust up there with 2 lurkers at the top of the ramp. Looks like we do have +1 attack now done. Oh man, these mutas! Not quite paying attention there. Getting a little bit lucky since Hiya wasn't paying attention either. If Hiya was paying attention there, he could have stimmed and run under the mutas. That would have been devastating. But we do have a hive already on the way as well from here. And Hiya is moving most of his units up to the 12 o'clock. Again, with those 2 lurkers there, I don't really see how he can go up, having not gotten that +1 armor. Sometimes Terrans will be sneaky and actually get +1 armor so that they can run up the ramp, because if you have +1 armor on your Marines, it does take 3 shots from lurkers to kill them. So if you only have 2 lurkers at the top there, as Hero does at the 12, the Marines can actually run through. But in this case, I don't think it's possible. Anyway, the mutas still continue to do some harassment here, but it doesn't look like Hero's continued production. Gonna save all his gas for lurkers and the hive tech. And here we go. It looks like Hiya's actually going for a break here. The lurkers a little bit too far forward. Oh man, Hero going for the break here. Hiya didn't try and run past, he just killed him from the bottom of the ramp. I didn't realize, but Hero's lurker positioning was actually quite poor there. He had them too close to the ramp so that the Marines could actually shoot them from the low ground and not have to run up the ramp. And it's looking like his third base might actually go down here. Hero, can he save it? It looks like instead the Marines going to target down the mutas and the drones. The hatchery, is it going to be saved here? There's 4 lurkers there. The drones are trying to block. No, the hatchery goes down. Hero's third base has fallen. Oh man, just because of that poor lurker placement, man, that's one of those things where it's like, you know, people always say there's like a specific spot where you're supposed to place lurkers at the top of a ramp to stop Marines, but you know, you rarely ever expect that, you know, even if you place them off a little bit, that you get busted. I mean, there's, you know, plenty of times I've seen in these games where, you know, alright, the lurkers are too far forward or too far back, and it's like, well, that's not ideal, but the Terran very rarely actually goes for it, because it's still a bit of a risky move there if you mess it up. You know, the lurkers can just own all of your Marines. But Hiya just knew exactly what to do there, and just punishing Hero for having his lurkers off literally just by 1 hex. If that closer lurker, that right side lurker was up, you know, up and to the left 1 hex, then he would have been fine. Wow. Alright, so now Hero's not looking so hot. He has gone up to hive tech here. I don't actually know what he's gone for. Defilers, Guardians, maybe both. Getting a couple Guardians on Fighting Spirit is super duper popular. Planting them behind your opponent's natural is a really easy way to just be super annoying without spending too much money on it. But in this case, seeing as he's lost his third gas, I don't know if he can afford it. And it looks like he's going for a big surround on the army, not quite getting it, but he does have a lot of lurkers and lings here. Scourge coming in as well, trying to take down that vessel. He does get the science vessel, but it looks like the Marine Force is going to sort of survive. No, he's going to engage again. Come on, show the action, man, show the action. Alright, looks like most of the lurkers are alive. All the lings have been taken down, so lurkers can't really proceed without the lings backing them up. But Hero is able to force back Hiya's army. Hiya, meanwhile, seems that he doesn't even have his starboard up yet, which is a little bit surprising to me. I would have thought that'd be finished by now. Maybe he just was focused a little bit too much on you know, being aggressive with that Medic Marine army. Meanwhile, Hero actually double expanding, taking the 12 and the bottom left main here. And you know, since his hive tech is done, taking those corner expansions are a little bit easier to defend because you can't get the Nidus Canal to them. So so that kind of takes care of that issue before, where you know it's a little bit harder to deal with drops and stuff. When you have the Nidus Canal, you just get those units over there ASAPly. Anyway, it looks like the Defiler is out. He's gonna need that to hold this though. Oh man, the Defiler might get sniped. The Defiler gets sniped. No swarm from that Defiler. However, there are still enough units, it looks like, to keep Hiya, you know, moving forward cautiously. And it looks like Hero's going to go in. Once again, there's the finally Dark Storm, so Hiya going to be pushed back yet again. Hiya's got something floating over to a 6 o'clock. Hopefully that's a third command center. I'm not sure if it is. He definitely wants to be thinking about taking a third, because look at this Hero being super greedy with the expansions, taking both corner expansions here. His bottom left one has been scouted by an SCV, but the top right one he's just taken as well. There's an SCV going up there. I'm not sure if these lings actually will be able to block it. Actually, it looks like there's a couple of things at the top of the ramp, so maybe he's already got some units there. But you know, even though Hiya did that great attack earlier on, taking out Hero's third, Hero's by all means not out just yet. Looks like the bottom left hatchery has actually been cancelled. Hero realizing he doesn't have anything to defend it, no point letting it go up, and he's already got the top right taken as well. Meanwhile, it's like a small counter attack going down to take out Hiya's third. Gonna get blocked by some vultures here and mines, and not gonna be able to go through. Even though we can see there's no mines in the way actually. Hero doesn't know that, so to just keep running the lurkers down there would be kind of too risky. Meanwhile, though, it looks like a lot of units actually moving in to Hero's natural. I'm not sure where all the units are. There's some lurkers morphing here, but they're going to get taken down as soon as they pop. Where did Hero's army actually go? He was expanding all over the map, but apparently just had no units at the same time. And oh my goodness, there's no Defiler, no units at all. He just needs a Defiler, one Defiler. There we go. There's the one Defiler, and a couple of lurkers finish. And that, wow, barely holding on there. He might actually even get both these siege tanks. Not quite, no. Tanks do on siege in time. Good reaction time from Hiya there. But man, it looked for a second like Hero would just roll over and die again, which would be a little bit disappointing. Meanwhile, Hiya now, the one taking another base here, a fourth base at the bottom left main. Overlord does see it. There's actually two random Overlords, I'm not sure why. And Hiya keeping on the pressure, sieging down this 12 o'clock base. Again, just needs a Defiler over there to keep the Lurker alive. Although it looks like there was only one Lurker and it did get irradiated. Okay, there's a few more Lurkers coming in. But yeah, as long as you got a Swarm and a couple of Lurkers, you can basically defend against almost anything, really, until the vessel count gets high enough to just irradiate everything. So we can see Hero's going to defend this, and this time he's also going to clean up the siege tanks. A few Vultures going to head to the top right. I think there are a couple of Lurkers at the top of that ramp. It's going to be a bit difficult for them to move up there. They might try and just run past it, but I think a few of them will die. And it looks like Hiya's gone for the full mech switch now. All the barracks are lifted. He's got only 3 factories in the main though, so for a short while here, his production isn't actually going to be that great. There's always this, small window of time when the Terran is switching from bio to mech where, his upgrades aren't ready yet and his infrastructure isn't ready yet. So Hero maybe has a slight opportunity here, or at least he's going to be able to, take a little bit of a breather, although, that's not really stopping Hiya, the fact that he's lifted all his barracks. He's still being aggressive with all these units, but nice plague there, and some Ling's going to catch all of those Marines. Very, very nice stuff. Vulture's moving in though, and see, this is actually the ideal position for the Terran switching to mech, because his bio army was effective enough to keep the Zerg pinned back. So now that the Vultures are out, he can basically lay mines all around, right outside the Zerg's base, and just kind of contain him into the natural expansion. Because the Zerg's composition at the moment, Lurkerling Defiler, is horrible against mines. It doesn't have anything to clear mines. You need like Hydras or Mutas to do that, or just good suicide Lings. But basically the Terran now has complete map control. He's keeping the Zerg pinned back, and he's freely taking expansions himself. He's taking the bottom left, and oh man, it looks like Hero again getting way too aggressive with these Lurkers, moving down to the bottom of the ramp there and just getting sniped off by these Vultures. He has sent in some more units from the Nice Canal. Hiya going to be a little bit fancy here. I don't really think this is worth it. Oh man, nice plague there. Wow, hitting all the speed Vultures with a plague. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, so Hiya, man, he's still microing this. It's not really worth it. I don't think just a handful of Vultures there. It's not really worth the attention in an APM. Just, alright, you got a few Vultures up there. They got plague. Just leave them alone. Anyway. So just looking at, if you just look at the minimap, Hiya is just everywhere right now. I like these few Marines, by the way, positioned at 9 o'clock. Going to prevent any kind of sneaky Lurker drops or anything moving down to the bottom left. And yeah, Hiya is just completely controlling this game right now. It's 4 base against 4 base. The Terran's already gone for his mech switch, so he's going up to that super awesome late game composition. And Hero just hasn't really been able to do anything. It looks like he might have gotten some drop research. He's got some Overlords there. It looks like he might have been loading up. I'm not really sure. I didn't actually see anything load up, but that's what it looks like he was doing. And we can see the 5 additional factories have been added now, so the infrastructure problem has been solved. Hiya's got plenty of buildings to macro off of. And here we go. Gonna start sieging down that natural. What does Hero have to actually defend this? He's gonna actually need drops if he wants to defend this, because there is actually no anti-air. So if he does have drop tech, he can drop on this. There are a few Marines there, the kind of the remains of the bio army. There's not that many. But it looks like there's just nothing here. Oh, he does have drops. He's going in the other place. He's going to the bottom left. And oh man, the turrets are already up. A couple of the Overlords popping without getting their units out. Only a couple of Lurkers do make it out, but they are at least going to force the SCVs to move away. They're going to force the liftoff of the command center to die mining here for a little bit. So a nice little counterattack from Hero. But the problem is, how does he deal with the main army here? He's got some Dark Storms that are barely keeping him alive. But there's 3 vessels out as well that are going to pick off these Defilers, and There's something going on at the top right as well. It looks like Hiro's trying to take that natural base, but I think the Terror might be attacking it with something. Looks like, no, there's just a couple of mines and a floating engineering base. So if Hiro can actually get this base, he won't be in terrible shape. He'll be up to 5 bases against 4, and with 1 base kind of being denied for the time being. But it'll still be pretty tricky. Tricky. Anyway, it looks like those lurkers have been taken out. That base is being reestablished, and Hiya, while kind of containing Hiro at his own natural at the top left, is simultaneously attacking that top right new base there. I think that's just gonna have to be sacrificed from Hiro. No way that's gonna get saved. And Hiro might want to take this opportunity to try and break here. Is he going to go for it? I don't know if he actually has enough, though. The problem is, you know, I mean, right now, basically, Hiya's kind of split his army. Half his army is going to the top right. So this, if Hiro had enough units, this would be the ideal time to try and break out here. But it looks like there's actually a few too many units there. He's actually just going to try and pick off these units at the top right instead. Although, just, I mean, look at that. You know, Hiya's in such a good position that he's just irradiating individual Hydralisks. Like, that's almost never worth it. Or rather, it's just not worth it. But he doesn't really care because he's just so far ahead. He's just gonna do it. So looks like not even any units to pop out of that Nidus Canal. It's gonna get taken down. A couple of random individual Hydras, but that's gonna be it. GG from Hiro, and Hiya going up 2-0 here in dominating fashion. I mean, this is sort of the result everyone predicted, but still, Hiro doesn't even seem to have a chance against Hiya. I mean, look at how calm he is. Yeah, alright. Another day at the office. Another day at Sonic's office, I guess. So now with Hiya being up 2-0, I wonder if we're going to see something crazy actually. I mean, this is his opportunity to show off a little bit, and we know that Hiya does like to show off. So you know, we could see some fancy 2-port Wraith action, or I don't know, some kind of weird nuke rush.